Here we go. Preparing to live stream the meeting. I'll let you know when we're up. Done redirecting to YouTube. Okay, we're live. We are live. I just waiting to see my face. Okay, yes, we are live, Brandon. So everybody here, well, everyone's going to be here in a second. We're just going to... Okay, we're live. We're going to share the links and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then recording, we're perfect. All right, just bear with us, whoever's here. Just give us a few moments.
You got the urinating tree logo on, but
I do?
Yeah,
Here,
it looks like it.
I'll fix that right
now. Man, that's fine. That's fine. I take that as a compliment.
Hey, urinating tree's a legend, but so is yourself. So.
Oh, come on. That's not.
Come on. Don't be hard on yourself. Let me change this. I think I have a picture from the draft lottery. To anyone watching this, it's YouTube's fault for why this is so technically difficult. So just bear with us. What's good? Oh, that's the perfect image. Bill Daly showing the NHL logo for number 1. So stupid, huh? So stupid. This should not be happening. This really should not be happening. Yeah, there we go. There's the logo. Join Brandon Maki, myself, as we react live to the Phase 2 NHL Draft Lottery. All right.
It's like a well-oiled machine here.
We're learning on the fly, Brandon. We're learning on the fly, but I think we're good now. I think we should be.
I think so too. It looks good.
Ready to rock and roll.
Results with technically.
Oops, sorry. Super professional. There we go.
I think it's saved. I'm just gonna go to my 7 people watching here. Parker Lynn, Sens Talk just broke the internet. That's what I do That's what Brandon and I do every day. We just continually break the internet. That's what we do for a living. Let me see this. Yep, we're good. Okay. So everything's good. I got the chat open. All right, there. And now I'm putting that on. All right. So Brandon, here we are. Phase 2.
Here we are.
NHL Draft Lottery. How are we feeling?
Well, I think like every Sens fan, I'm kind of mixed on it. I wanted Alexis Lafreniere to end up in Ottawa. I'm annoyed that he's going to a team that had a chance to compete for a Stanley Cup. That's stupid beyond belief. But at the end of the day, there's a few teams in this lottery that I think are deserving of getting him, and a few that we know aren't deserving of getting him. Yeah. But either way, it's going to be fun. I'm excited. I think you kind of have to, in this insane year 2020, learn to appreciate the chaos a bit, embrace the chaos, if you will.
You're the chaos.
So I think that's where we're at right now. We just kind of have to roll with the punches, and we just have to figure out a way to enjoy this insane year. And what would be more insane than Alexis Lafreniere going to one of these teams, right? We'll get into details there, but that's kind of where I'm at on it. How you feeling, brother, on this Sens Talk meets internal budget meets YouTube
Best of 7
shenanigans,
podcast, YouTube,
Best
everything.
of 7, Silver 7 Sens, everything under the sun. But yeah, man, how what are your thoughts on it?
Well, honestly, knowing the NHL, the way the NHL runs and the way it doesn't run, it's very, very complicated the way they run. I'm not shocked at how messed up and confusing this whole process is. I believe Ian Mendes, before this all started, mentioned that the teams that are in the play-in, which, by the way, were technically playoff games, should not have a shot at first overall. There should have been a separate lottery for the first overall pick. On top of that,
Absolutely.
I was listening to Ray Ferraro and O-Dog on The Drive or something a couple days ago. And Ray Ferraro completely said it perfectly. He said that this lottery should not have taken place until after the play-ins. And I still don't understand why this is happening. This happened before the play-ins. Now, I'm happy Ottawa got 3 and 5. It's not the worst case scenario. We're getting one of Byfield or Stutzla or Drysdale or Raymond, etc. So Ottawa's in a good spot here. But, look at Detroit. They got screwed. So if Pittsburgh, Edmonton, these teams, or God forbid, Toronto, get that first overall pick, as a Sens fan, it's going to suck, and you're going to see that in the reaction. But it's not like it's not like I'm a Detroit Red Wings fan. At least I have 2 top 5 picks. You have the 4th overall pick and had one of the worst years in NHL history.
Yeah, we talked about it the night that the lottery happened too.
Yes.
And we were talking about how we were both feeling pretty good about it only because Ottawa had the 2 picks. And we got to remember, for the perspective of Ottawa Senators fans, it was their pick that dropped to 5th. It was the Ottawa pick that dropped all the way from 5th. Classic Ottawa, the most Senators thing to ever happen. So thank God Pierre Dorion got that San Jose pick in the Erik Karlsson trade. I'm not quite ready to say thank God he traded Erik Karlsson yet. I think the jury's still out on that. But man, that pick is a lifesaver. That's the difference between one really good player and probably 2 elite players. At least one elite player.
Can we talk about the fact that Ottawa not only got a top 5 pick in that trade, which, by the way, I miss Karlsson to death, but it's looking much better than it did at the time. But what I will say is, on top of getting a top 5 pick, a top 3 pick in that trade, Ottawa also got Josh Norris, a potential top line center for the Senators if they don't draft Byfield. Rudolph Balsters, not a bad player, definitely a top 9 prospect in my opinion, like a top 9 forward in the future in the NHL. And then they got Turney, who can probably return some assets, or it's a solid veteran presence as a young guy with the even younger guys. That trade, we give Pierre Dorion a good amount of flack, deservingly so, right? But at the same time, Eugene Melnyk has Pierre Dorion's hands like tied together. He has no card to play. So with the limited amount of cards he can play, Dorion, for a lot of trades he's made, has come out on the better side of them, and I think that shows how good he is as a scout because of his experience in scouting. I think that's what it stems to. That's why, unlike the 2012-2011 rebuild, this rebuild I have hope for. Now I know we're all going to question, is Melnyk going to, pay these players? Let's not get into that right now. But I think I have trust in this rebuild because Pierre Dorion, in my opinion, is the right guy to lead the rebuild because he knows prospects.
Yeah, he's definitely the right guy to put it together. I don't think there are many GMs in the NHL with Pierre Dorion's level of prospect expertise. And we've seen that already. How many of us were pissed off that the Sens took Brady Tkachuk? How many were annoyed that they passed on Kaliev and took Shane Pinto, right? Lassie Thompson, all of whom, and granted, none, only one of them has really established themselves as an NHL player as of now.
Yeah.
But from the way things are looking right now, the Senators are kind of sitting pretty from a prospect perspective. So I agree. Yeah, I think he's definitely the right guy to take them at least into the beginning stages of this rebuild. Now, when the Sens are ready to contend and they need to make assets for, trade for guys at a deadline that are going to help them on a playoff push, maybe Dorion's that guy, maybe he isn't. But for now, I think the Sens are in a great spot.
Well, I think we'll cross that bridge when the time comes. I think right now, especially with so much uncertainty around this season, around this offseason, like right now, the Sens aren't going to be playing until December, and their draft is going to be in October. We don't even know what jersey they're going to wear. Are they going to wear this one? We don't know. We do know, but the Senators.
I think we know. But I don't believe
anything the Senators, Alexis Lafreniere is on the screen. I don't believe anything the Senators put out there, like rumors, until it happens. Just as me being a Sens fan, because I'm adjusted to hurt. I'm adjusted to the pain. So until I see the Senators Twitter account, rest in peace, Craig McDougall, I miss him so much. That Twitter account is so bad without him. But, I think until they release that jersey, I'm bracing for impact. I want to see it. I want to see it now. I don't know why they're taking so long. I assume they're waiting till the draft, but that's in October, and we're on August 10th right now. So,
yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing too. Hold on, I'm going to lower my chair a little bit here. There we go. No, I look short, but yeah, I think for me, what it's going to come down to for the Sens, like to deem this whole kind of thing as a success, is a lot of it's going to be name recognition for the guys that they pick, right? Is the potential there for them to pass on a Stutzel or Byfield? It would not surprise me. Knowing Pierre Dorian, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But I think from a fan perspective, if they do go that route, then the 2D jerseys are going to be somewhat of an assurance, right? Like you're going to see probably these guys that they pick on draft day or at least shortly thereafter in that, black 2D or the white 2D or maybe the red alternate that's been rumored. So I think a lot of it is just going to be getting back to a place of confidence with the fans. And a lot of that is just perception, right? It's not necessarily the on ice product that'll come, but a lot of it is how they're going to view the rebuild. And I think, what you mentioned Ian earlier, when I had him on my show, we talked about the 2D jerseys and he said the Sens need to go back to that because that's, a time of legitimacy, a time where, the Sens were a contending team. And that's going to help a lot. Yeah, and I see Alexis Lafreniere's handsome mug on the screen right now.
Too.
Are you at the same part or am I behind?
What do you see right now on the screen?
I just see him sitting there with his Gatorade bottles in the background.
You're about a couple minutes behind.
And now, okay, now I got the Zoom blocks with all the GMs and everything. Oh yeah, I think I'm speeding up now.
I'm on the Sportsnet one, so I see Chris Cosentino, that's his name, right?
Sam Cosentino.
Sorry. He's got the handlebar. I respect it. I don't like it, but I respect it. All right, so
I'm behind you. I'm right behind you now.
Okay, so I'll try not to ruin it for you.
5-second delay. Wow, that is a heck of a facial hair decision by Sam there.
Hey,
goodness.
Him and Elliot, it's definitely a colorful
a
colorful panel there with the beards and stuff. Now, I was thinking we should go through the rosters to sort of decide what's the best case scenario and this worst case scenario. You know what I mean?
Let's do it.
So let's start. So let me share screen this. Where do you want to start with? Who do you want to start with?
Well, I want to talk about the Winnipeg Jets because I think they are, to me, the kind of sleeper team that people want them to go to. Right now, especially in Sens Nation, everybody is pushing for the Minnesota Wild. They want Alexis Lafreniere out of the Eastern Conference to a good hockey market like Minnesota. But for me, I really want to see him go to Winnipeg. It is a Western Conference team, but it's a really great Canadian market. They have a fantastic fan base. Like the whiteout in the playoffs every year has been just so much fun to watch, especially when they made their run to the conference final a couple of years ago. That's a team like think about that forward core. You got Mark Scheifele, you got Patrick Laine, guys like Kopp and Lowry. You've got a talented group of forwards there. Now add Alexis Lafreniere to that mix. Add a real game-breaking forward to that group, and I think that's going to be something special. It's going to be fun to watch, and as I said on Twitter earlier today, that fan base deserves it, man. Like not that they've had to go through too much insanity over the last few years, but it would be such a win for them after finally getting their team back to land an Alexis Lafreniere in a year where I think their playoff performance ended up being disappointing.
Well,
that's all roses for me.
Just take a look at this team. I sorted it to top points from the regular season. They got a lot of elite players. You got Scheifele, you got Connor, Wheeler, Laine, Ehlers. And that's not even naming guys like Andrew Kopp, who I think haven't hit their ceiling yet at such a young age. Like he's 25. That's still young. I think he has a lot more to prove, and I like his abilities. Now, I think you look at that top five: Scheifele, Connor, Wheeler, Laine, Ehlers. Now you add Lafreniere next to that. Now, where would you put Lafreniere on that? Would he be with Connor? Would he be with Wheeler, Scheifele? Who would he be with?
I think at year one, the very lowest he's going to be is between Kyle Connor and Blake Wheeler. Will he hit his stride immediately out of the gate? Who knows?
Yeah.
We've seen guys do it. Crosby came out of the gate pretty hot in his draft.
Yes.
But we'll see. I think eventually he's probably going to be a better forward than anyone on that team.
Yeah.
And that's not knocking anyone on the Jets like Scheifele and Connor and Wheeler. They're all incredibly talented players. Laine too had a bit of a resurgent year after he kind of struggled last year. But for me, you add Lafreniere to that mix. not only is he going to be at the very top, but he's going to make the rest of that crew better as well. He's going to make Liney better. He's going to make Scheifele better. Really talented players elevate their line mates. That's the kind of player Alexis Lafreniere is. So the Winnipeg, so I think he's going to be near the top of their forward core, but everyone is going to take a step up if the Jets get Lafreniere.
I think what's important to look at for Winnipeg itself is the age of majority of their players on the team. A lot of them are under 25, and I think that's not common for hockey teams, especially in the National Hockey League. Now, if you put a team like Winnipeg and you pair him with Alexis Lafreniere, what that age shows to me is they have a youth movement, and we all agree on that. The youth movement is key. Now, Edmonton already has Draisaitl. It already has McDavid. Now, as a hockey fan, where I love to see Lafreniere in Edmonton, we'll get to that in a second. I'll say this: it'll be incredible to watch. It'll be incredible hockey. But I think on a team standpoint, a team that's competitive, a market that we all can like. I don't see anyone that really dislikes Winnipeg. They're not a dirty team. They're a high-skilled team. They're a likable team. Hellebuck's a great goalie. Dylan DeMello, effing writes Mello. That guy's a stud. Scheifele is probably one of the most underrated centers in the league. I think Lafreniere, especially as a Canadian player, being raised in such I believe he was raised in a smaller town, going to Winnipeg, which is definitely a city. It's definitely a bigger city, but it has the feeling of a smaller town, if that makes sense, where he's not going to be in Toronto, where he's going to face the media every day. He's not going to ruin his career. He's not going to be pressured to talk to the media like Kessel was in Toronto. It's a good fit where it's a good balance of crazy hockeyness, but also respectfulness, where he's going to have space to breathe. The media is not going to be down his throat. And I think with the youth that they have on top of the actual location itself, I think Winnipeg would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're Alexis Lafreniere, all eyes are going to be on you. Just, like that's just going to be a fact of your career. But I agree. I think Winnipeg would be a great market for him in that sense. And the Minnesota Wild, I think, would also be a great market in that sense, because it is a fan base that absolutely loves their hockey. It's basically another Canadian team, Minnesota. They love, they call it the state of hockey for a reason. They're nuts about their hockey in Minnesota. And we were chatting about this before we went live. Yeah. The Wild have never had that true elite level game breaker. They've had guys close to it. They've had Marian Gaborik. They've had Danny Heatley, guys like Zach Parise, but they've never had a player whom has had the intention of the entire league on them. They've never had that bona fide Hall of Fame type player, as we see Gary Bettman come on screen right now.
Here we go. I'm just going to a bit.
But for me, I think that would be great for that market, especially because it's one that's kind of been directionless. Yeah. And I think they need to embrace a full-scale top-to-bottom rebuild. Like, look at the guys on screen here. Like you've got Kunin and you've got Eriksson Ek. These guys are talented players, right? I know a lot got made of Fiala too. I know a lot got made of the Eriksson Ek pick at the time, but he's a good foundational guy to have on a competitive team. So for me, I think what they need to do is they need to embrace
youth.
Embrace how easy Alexis Lafreniere would make a rebuild. Yeah. That's how I see it. So I think he would be good for them in that sense.
I think Alexis Lafreniere would restore hope to Minnesota. We were speaking about this actually. Again, we were speaking about this before the stream even started, where Urinating Tree made an incredible video. Friend of the show, Urinating Tree made an incredible video dissecting, Ryan Suter and Zach Parise's contracts with Minnesota when they signed there in 2012 for the 10-year deals. What he said was that put Minnesota into mediocrity for the foreseeable future, and clearly it has. That series against Vancouver is exactly it. They have a solid defensive core. We'll look at it right now. Spurgeon, Brodin, Matt Dumba. They're not terrible. That's Matt Dumba especially. They're a really, really good core defensively. But you look at that offense, Zuccarello, they have a bunch of guys that are mediocre. They're good enough to probably get you into the playoffs, but not good enough to get you over the second round. They've never been able to really get past that second round. Do you remember a time where Minnesota surprised everyone and went to the conference finals, went to the Stanley Cup, did anything because they're they're the forgotten middle child of the National Hockey League, where yes, no one hates them,
No.
no one dislikes them, but they're forgotten and they're treated as such. They're just there. They're always just there, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And we've talked about this too, right? Like, it's like we were chatting about before. Kevin Fiala's a really nice player. Is he a top line winger on a Stanley Cup winning team? I don't think so. Not
Top
yet,
six,
anyway.
maybe.
Top 6 for sure. I think he's definitely a second line guy on a truly competitive team.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Stahl, a guy who's up in the upper end of his career, probably shouldn't be on your top line.
No.
At this point in his career. Marcus Foligno, I love Marcus Foligno. I'm from Sudbury. The Folignos are from Sudbury. They're fantastic people. Cannot say enough about them. They're great people. They're great in the community. But, not a guy who's going to be driving play on a competitive team. And were we getting a look at the lottery balls here?
Yeah. I got Edmonton on the screen right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say one thing just about Matt Dumba. I wanted to speak about this very quickly. And I hope you don't mind, because Matt Dumba did something incredible where he stood up for what is right. He stood up for what is right. He stood up for what was needed to be done in the National Hockey League, where no one was kneeling, where no one was, saying what needed to be said. No one was defending and championing equality. And all his teammates were cowards. I'm just going to be very blunt with you. His teammates were cowards. Now, I understand the stigmatization around it, where a lot of players don't want to be caught in that. But at the same time, they did say they didn't want to kneel. So maybe you don't need the kneel, but at least show some support for your teammate. You guys are brothers. That's the team. You're brothers. And I thought it was just rude. Like, if I was on a team, I would be there with my brother and I would support him any way he needs, because that's my brother. And I don't care what other people think. I look at this team, all these players are well established. Now, I'm not saying these players itself, maybe it's an organizational thing, maybe it's a management thing, I don't know, but I wanted to touch up on that because I applaud Matt Dumba for being one of the lone people in the National Hockey League for speaking out. And I think it's unfortunate that his teammates didn't follow suit.
I don't think I would go as far as to say they're cowards, just because I don't know the inner workings of that locker room, and I don't know, how they think as people. The way I see it is this: I don't want to tell anyone how to be an activist, because no one's obligated to be an activist. I can probably say that I probably would kneel in that situation. Again, that's easy for me to say sitting in my, in front of my desk in Toronto. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of it is going to come down to learning. I think the NHL is a little bit behind the learning curve that the NFL went through when the Colin Kaepernick situation kind of first came about. So I think that's what it comes down to. I think they just have to learn, and I think the learning is going to continue, and that's how I see this shaken down. Like, I think if we're going to get to a place where you are going to see more support, it is going to take time, but these guys, they have to learn what this movement's about. So I think that's what it comes down to. Would I have liked to see more support for Matt Dumba? For sure. Absolutely. Yes. But I think we do kind of have to be patient, and maybe patient isn't the appropriate word, but I just think it's going to take time. That's how I feel. I think at the end of the day, I think that's the thing I want to stress to people, is that it's coming. This is something, guys kneeling, especially white players kneeling, that's something that would have been unfathomable 5 years ago, right? So that's where we're at. I think we've made progress. Progress is going to continue to be made, maybe not as fast as people like, but progress is coming. Are they juggling the balls now?
They are. I just want to touch up on, I completely agree. I want to rephrase what I said. I don't want to tell anyone how to stand up for what's right. What I was trying to say, though, was I just find it, by coward, I mean, it's just, in my opinion, as a teammate, you're supposed to support your teammate. And
support. Yeah,
that's what I meant.
It makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm getting nervous. I didn't think I was going to be nervous.
Okay. I got to turn off.
They're probably going to cut to commercial before he pulls the ball out of the machine too. We gotta do ads for Uber Eats, you know.
Uber Eats. Oh, here we go.
I'm way behind.
The Rangers.
Oh my God.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yes.
Oh my God. At least it wasn't Toronto. Oh God.
Rangers. Wow.
Mika, baby. Okay, hold on. I just realized I got Mika. Okay, Mika with Artemi Panarin. That's dirty. That is dirty. Holy cow. Wow.
I said it on Twitter today. I selfishly, as a hockey fan, I want to see the Rangers get him. Ryan Mead, all the guys from Blue Shirts banter, I bet they're just flipping their lids right now.
Oh, that is... And Igor Shesterkin and net. Oh my God, the Rangers are suddenly, if they can build that decor, are suddenly. I'll lower this. Are suddenly cup contenders.
Holy hellfire!
Holy wow!
And you just gave Jeff Gorton, who for my money is the best GM in the league, Alexis Lafreniere.
I'll say one thing.
Unbelievable.
Better than the Oilers. And
yes.
Better than the Leafs. But I'm really disappointed that Minnesota because we just spoke about it for like 20 minutes. Oh my God. We're gonna get, by the way, everyone listening to this and everyone watching this specifically, we are going to get to the Rangers lineup in just a moment. Do not worry. We're gonna dissect this, but I just need
I gotta say, I have a soft spot for the New York Rangers, which may come as a surprise to some Sens fans. The Rangers were my grandfather's team. He passed away a couple years ago. So I always have kind of had that soft spot in my heart for the Rangers. This is great. This is awesome. Is it great for the Sens that they're going to have to play Alexis Lafreniere twice a year?
Twice.
No, not phenomenal. Yeah, not phenomenal. Not phenomenal that they're probably going to face him in the playoffs. Yes, he's out of the division. And purely as a hockey fan, we get to see Alexis Lafreniere play with Mika Zibanejad, Artemi Panarin, Adam Fox. And you got Shesterkin in net. That team is a problem. Wow.
The Rangers with all the money in the world, all right? That's a top-class organization with top-class prospects, just got gifted the #1 overall draft pick. They already got one of the best snipers in the game, Artemi Panarin. They already got one of the most underrated centers in the game, Mika Zibanejad. Probably one of the most underrated rookies in the game in Adam Fox. Probably the best goalie prospect in the league, Igor Shesterkin. And ladies and gentlemen, they just got themselves Alexis Lafreniere. They are legit. And looking at all these hairdos and beards on the screen is going to make me sidetrack for a sec. But wow. I was not expecting that. I was thinking they would have a whole big reveal, but then I just saw Rangers.
Yeah.
I was stunned. I'm like, wow.
I figured the balls were still going around in the machine when you saw it for me. So yeah, I thought they were gonna finish it. They were gonna go to commercial, and then you put your hands on your head, and I'm like, what the hell happened? Oh my God! Look at this lineup. The top 6 is Panarin, Zibanejad, Buchnevich, Kakko, Strome, and Lafreniere. God, and it's gonna get better. It's going to get better.
Oh, my God.
They have cap room. They have prospects. Oh, Jesus.
Holy crap, man. And good for Lafreniere. I know I said that would be good for him to be in a low market place. Let's flip the script. He's in probably the highest market place after Toronto, but listen.
He's playing on Broadway, baby.
Listen, there's no place brighter than Broadway, exactly. So this is – the kid's going to I don't know. This – I'm at a loss of words. Wow. I don't know. I know we're on a recording right now. This is going to go into the internal budget, and I'm trying to make this an interesting conversation, but I'm at a loss of words. Like,
no, me too. Like,
I didn't fathom the Rangers winning.
I did. I
know you did. Yeah.
Man. I don't know what it was. Like, I think my gut pick, I think the Rangers were the dark horse for me. Well, they picked 2 last year and 1 this year.
Oh my God. This is insane, man. Holy cow.
This is why I wanted to do the live stream, because I didn't want the polished intellectual conversation. I wanted the raw reaction.
Raw, yeah.
Oh man.
Okay,
Can we talk?
Oh my God.
Can we talk about how funny this is for the Leafs?
Can we please just get into that? Can we please? Not only do they get shut out in Game 5, not only do they pay John Tavares $11.5 million to hit the empty net, not only do they pay Marner over $10 million to not score a single point, they also lost out on Alexis Lafreniere. Mwah! Hockey gods, you act in mysterious ways.
You know what else they lost out on? They don't have a first-round pick. Their first goes to Carolina for Patrick Marleau. They only had their first round pick if it was Lafreniere. It was lottery protected.
Oh, Carolina. Hats off to you, Carolina. Wow.
Good God.
Carolina already. I think Carolina's going to be Boston. So not only is I know that's a gutsy call, but not only is Carolina nice with it right now, they now have a top 15 pick, and the Leafs just got screwed back-to-back nights. I gotta check Twitter right now. Holy cow!
There's a lot of conspiracy stuff going on.
Listen, the conspiracy, I would get if it was Edmonton or Pittsburgh. Like Rangers, they could have not made the playoffs this year, so it does make sense. And they also did it live on TV, so give me a break. Like it was live.
No, this was not rigged. No. I don't want to hear that.
No,
like
definitely not.
Wow,
Twitter is,
man.
I can't keep up. I can't keep up.
Twitter's offside. People are happy. People are pissed.
I'm gonna have to pull this whole clip and put it on YouTube or something. I don't know what I'm gonna have to do, but
we're gonna have to.
Yeah, holy.
I love this. I love this. Like I really thought I was gonna hate the result, but I really like this. People don't understand too. Jeff Gorton is the guy who was the architect of the Boston Bruins. Like he got them Marchand. Like he was the guy. He made the one trade. I think he made a big trade. I forget what it was called. I forget what it was. I think he might have made the Rask trade. I don't know.
Oh,
but
Raycroft.
Yeah,
right? Not Raycroft.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raycroft.
But that's pretty wild. Like so, and when they hired him, I was like, this team is going to be really good eventually. Now they've got Alexis Lafreniere. They're going to win the Stanley Cup within 5 years, at least.
Whoa! Clip that. Somebody clip that.
Take it to the bank. For I know for a fact there were people who used my prediction to win money when I picked the Arizona Coyotes over the Nashville Predators. So take that one to the bank too. Now here's my question.
Yeah, I'm gonna write.
And I'm not trying to.
Down real quick. Hold on.
Absolutely.
All right, got it.
I'm not trying to fuel any conspiracy theory nonsense. But Ron at Father FNAF just tweeted, "Where was this transparency the first lottery?" I'm wondering that too. Why didn't we get to see the balls drop on the first lottery?
I'll tell you why. Now, I don't have my tinfoil hat, but I'll do this. Hold on. All right. I'll tell you why. Conspiracy Brandon here. I'll tell you why this draft lottery and the last one were a little different. Was the last lottery rigged? I don't think so. Is it possible? Anything is possible. So, in the realm of possibility, is it possible, Brandon, that the NHL not only did a huge cash grab by bringing back the league, not only did a huge cash grab by having Montreal and Chicago move on, but on top of that, have the first overall pick pushed to after the play-ins, and then when the play-ins are done, they give it to the biggest market in the National Hockey League. Now, I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm just saying there are a lot of things here that are working out incredibly well for the NHL. Now, let me take off this conspiracy hat. I don't think it's rigged, but conspiracy Brandon does have a point. I think there is a legitimate conversation to be had.
I think there are questions to be asked.
Yes.
Well, look at this order now. Edmonton to 14, Florida 12, Nashville 11, Winnipeg 10. Ooh, Winnipeg gets a top 10 pick.
Carolina
Good for them.
Carolina 13 with Toronto's pick.
Yeah, with Toronto's pick. Ooh, man. Imagine the defenseman or the winger the Leafs could have got with that pick. They could have got a guy that was in their NHL lineup next year.
Can we talk about something? Can we just talk about the symmetry behind Alexis Lafreniere, just like how perfectly put everything is? That
was professionally done.
No, for sure.
That was professionally done.
Okay, let me read out this order to everybody that's listening. I'm just gonna pull it up on Twitter, or do you want to read it out while I get the Rangers lineup and we'll discuss that?
Yeah. So aside from what we already knew, the Rangers are picking first. The Wild are picking 9th, Winnipeg 10th, Nashville 11th. Shoot, it just popped off my screen. Carolina's 13th. Who's 14th? Is Florida? Was it Florida? Oh, no, Florida's 12th.
No, Florida was 12. Carolina
13.
Minnesota was 15 with Pittsburgh, I think, or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think Minnesota probably has 2. Hold on. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Wow. Here we go. And I just lost it. I hate Twitter. There's some content coming out of this, too.
This is some good content. All right, I got to put this on the screen.
Yeah, so here we go. So the order from first to... Oh, dude, you
bad.
Enlarged my screen. You screwed me up. So we got the Rangers first, the Kings second, Ottawa with San Jose's pick at number 3, Detroit at 4, Ottawa with Ottawa's pick at number 5, Anaheim at 6, New Jersey at 7, Buffalo at 8, Minnesota at 9, Winnipeg at 10, Nashville at 11, Florida at 12, Carolina via Toronto at 13, Edmonton at 14, and Pittsburgh at 15. I think what I love about this is that the teams that stand to gain the most, undeservedly so, all go to the bottom of the top 15 draft order. Edmonton, Pittsburgh, and Toronto gets nothing. I love it.
Nada.
I love it.
Nada.
Like I'm okay with the Rangers getting that first overall pick. Like that's something that would happen in a lottery. They they didn't win a playoff game. They got into the qualifying round. They got stomped by a more experienced team than them, and they got the first overall pick out of it. This is how the lottery is supposed to work.
Conspiracy Brandon's back. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. The Rangers. Why did the Rangers start Lundqvist in both of those first 2 games?
Shesterkin was hurt.
Was Igor Shesterkin hurt? Or did the NHL send them a memo saying the first overall pick is on the line here? Take the hat off. That's just, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out. Conspiracy Brandon's a little wild today. I don't know. But I don't know. There's a lot of things here that are working out really well for the NHL, I gotta say. Now, I believe in coincidences too. And I believe it's just a coincidence. But at the same time, if you look at the odds of all this happening perfectly, the odds were much higher than not that one in Nashville, Pittsburgh, Edmonton, Toronto, Pittsburgh, these teams would have won. They haven't. So I don't think it's rigged. I know we're kidding around about it. I don't think it's rigged. I just think I think there's some questions that need to be answered. That's all. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Apparently, like the guy dropped the ball kind of early.
Oh no! Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's some skeptical hippo eyes going on Twitter right now. But I mean,
people want to
now watch the Rangers.
Everything though. Like, let's keep it on.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna be satisfied. Like, we would probably be saying the same thing if Ottawa lost the lottery.
Yeah.
I
got it on the screen right here, by the way.
Yeah.
Just so people can look.
That's big.
So 14 Edmonton, 13 Carolina from Toronto, 12 Florida, 11 Nashville, 10 Winnipeg, 9 Minnie, 8 Buffalo, 7 New Jersey, 6 Anaheim, 5 your Senators, 4th Detroit, 3rd your Ottawa Senators from San Jose, 2nd from the LA Kings, and then the 1st overall pick goes to the New York Rangers. Wow. What content from this stream? Wow.
Yeah.
This podcast is going to be incredible.
Mm-hmm. Take the wheel for a sec. I got to go answer my door.
Yeah, I gotcha. All right, y'all. I'm going to answer some questions here. Let's take a look at that. All right. Sorry to headphones users for that. Noah Luden, the moderator and chief editor of the Best of 7 podcast. Brian Burke, what a king. He hates the lottery like we do. Yep. Mythop40, hello. How are you doing? Saif Ali Khan, hey, how are you doing? The Rangers won, I know. Panarin, Zibby, Kako, Lafreniere, it's insane. Flying Nimbus. Just glad it didn't end up in the Standards division. Yep. Alex Thompson, anyone but Toronto? Yep. Windy City Hockey, how are you doing? I'm doing all right. Pardon me. Danny LP. You can't have balls if not everyone has the same odds. Everyone has the same odds, though, so it was okay. Because it was all 12.5, 1 out of 8 chance. I'm at a loss of words here, guys. I'm trying my best. I'm doing my very best. This is, thank God you're back. I'm at a loss of words. I can't speak. I don't know what to say. The Rangers are looking really nice with it.
It's, you know what? I think for me, I'm a diehard Sens fan, obviously, always have been, but I've grown over the past year or so to kind of look at the sport as a whole through a more analytical kind of lens and just appreciate the game, especially now that we just got it back after all this COVID nonsense.
Yeah.
This is great for the game of hockey. I just tweeted it. This is great for the NHL, Alexis Lafreniere, and the New York Rangers. At the end of the day, you have the biggest superstar prospect, and conservatively the last 5 years, going to one of the biggest and best markets in the league. This is great. This is phenomenal. Like, it almost would have been good for him to go to Montreal for that sense. Don't, you know?
No, you're right. You're right, though. You're right.
Yeah,
the jersey sales, let's just say that. The jersey sales in Quebec, if Lafreniere won and went to Montreal, would have went through the roofs. Let's just keep it. You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
Yeah, man. This is so good. Like, you know, like, the Rangers are one of my favorite teams to watch. They've always have been because their fans are amazing. Their jerseys are the cleanest. Like, that's probably my favorite jersey in the
Very
NHL. That blue Rangers jersey. Oh, it's gorgeous. That's what a hockey jersey should be. You know, you talk about Madison Square Garden, some of the most passionate fans in the league. It's hard not to like the Rangers.
A stable organization.
Yes.
Very important.
Like, there hasn't been any real nonsense come out of that organization. I keep harping on it. Jeff Gorton is a wizard. He's a wizard. He's one of the absolute best minds in hockey. And now he gets to play with Alexis Lafreniere, Artemi Panarin. Oh, my God. I'm excited to watch this Rangers team.
What I want to mention to everyone listening on Internal Budget and on the stream is from David Pagnotta, the Penguins now have 7 days to decide if they want to keep the pick at 15th overall or flip it to Minnesota. If they keep it, the Wild get Pittsburgh's 2021 first-round pick. So that's I don't know what trade happened for that. I forget. But if anyone was listening, was wondering.
If I'm Pittsburgh, I'm keeping it. Like, this is such a deep draft.
Yeah. And Jarvis there. You know, yeah. Jarvis.
And you're a team like the Penguins who needs instant relief, right? So, you know, like, is Pittsburgh going to be worse this year than they were next year? I mean, maybe, but
urinating tree certainly thinks so.
Yeah.
I was talking to him the other day. He was
not happy. I watched that video twice when it came out. It was great.
I was texting him on my way to get my puppy, which, by the way, the Best of 7 podcast next week, you'll see the dog, or on Sens Talk, you'll see the puppy. It's the cutest thing. Brady's the name. I was texting him. He was livid, because I was getting the dog when the game was going down, so I missed it.
Yeah,
but
I watched it.
And I saw Twitter. Don't worry, and everyone was going insane. Now to switch gears, let's keep it on track with the Rangers. Let's look at their lineup. So I'm going to pull it up for y'all. Where is it? Hold on. I just got to go there. Okay, 1 second. YouTube doesn't do me any favors here. There we go. Okay.
And meanwhile, while you're pulling that up, one guy we haven't talked about a lot is Capo Caco.
Yeah.
Like that kid, I know him and Hughes didn't quite live up to the expectations in their first year, but that kid's going to be a stud. He's so skilled. His hockey sense is so good. He's strong, and he's going to get bigger and stronger. You've got a good leader in Chris Kreider, Brendan Lemieux, Tony DeAngelo. They're guys that piss everybody off, but they're talented as hell. DeAngelo especially, if they bring him back, which I'm inclined to think they will, he's one of the better offensive-minded defensemen in the league. Again, only going to get better. There's a good core in place here that you're adding Alexis Lafreniere to.
I think we also got to look at the resurgence of Ryan Strom's career, where last year, 2 years ago, was a breakout year. Last year, this season, I guess, Ryan Strome continued that hot trend of producing, and now he's going to be with Kreider and Kako. That second line is going to look pretty good. As you can see on the screen here, it's going to be a top 15 line. Then that first line. Can we look at that first line? That's without Alexis Lafreniere. Look at that. That's a top 2 line already, a top 2 top line in the National Hockey League by ratings on dailyfaceoff.com. Panarin, number 4 left wing. Zibanejad, number 3 center. Pavel Buchnevich, number 44 right winger. Insert Lafreniere to this top 6. Kreider, number 14 left winger. They have 2 of the top 15 left wingers, and they're adding Lafreniere.
And we talked about that super line that the Leafs were running with in their series against Columbus. How about Panarin, Zibanejad, and Lafreniere?
I'll take that one over.
Disgusting. Yeah. But even if you want to play Lafreniere on the second line, you can put him with, like Kreider or Kako, and you've still got a group that on most other teams is a top line. So there's no losing this for the Rangers. And we didn't talk about Jacob Trouba. It was a huge acquisition in the offseason. He was huge for them. He was really good in the playoffs. And a guy who hasn't been called up yet in K-Andre Miller.
And he was drafted first round a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Who's going to stop this team?
Ottawa Senators, hopefully they're going to stop this team.
I think Ottawa could, just based purely on prospect pool. I think they're at different points of the rebuild. Ottawa is at a point where they don't quite have the game breakers yet, but they have the deep foundational prospect pool. The Rangers are kind of the opposite. They've got superstars. They've got Panarin. They've got Zibanejad. They're about to add Lafreniere to this mix. Do they probably need some more foundational guys? Yeah. Is Brett Howden, Greg McKegg, even Ketel, are those guys going to be around for the long haul? We'll see. But, for me, man, if I'm a Rangers fan right now, I'm obviously really happy, but I'm also really confident. What
the Rangers need to do, though, is add on to that decor. Adam Fox, Noah Ludin, in the chat, I think, will say this. And I've been telling him this for years. Not years, for the last couple of years, okay? Adam Fox is so underrated. Incredibly underrated. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He should have been considered for the Calder this year if it wasn't for the incredible amount of talent with Kubalik, Makar, and Quinn Hughes. I get it. Of course, he's not better than all three. Kubalik had a 30-goal season. Quinn Hughes is generational. Cale Makar is unstoppable. I get it. But Adam Fox, he should not be forgotten like he is, especially playing on Broadway in New York. Now, Ryan Lindgren coming in from Boston. I think he didn't have a terrible season. He's unproven. But then you have Jacob Trouba, Tony DeAngelo, where he got walked around by Sebastian Aho in that game 3. But I think DeAngelo is an NHL player, and he could definitely be a top 4 guy if developed properly. And to anyone listening or watching this, regardless of his opinions or views, he is a serviceable player. All right, and at the end of the day,
I had him on my fantasy team this year. I can tell you, he was more than serviceable. He was very good. He was very good this year.
He gets a lot of flack on the internet, but
rightfully so.
Yeah, but on the ice,
on the ice, he's one of the better
That's what
young defensemen in the league for sure. And you talked about Fox in that conversation with Hughes and Makar. And I know he didn't get the Calder consideration. Well, he probably got consideration, but he didn't get the nomination. Right.
Yeah.
But does he, yeah. But does he deserve to be in that conversation? For sure. Absolutely. He's definitely in that category with those young defenders like Makar and Shabbat and Hughes. Like Fox is a nice player, and Keandre Miller is projecting to be a solid top 4 option as well. So that blue line is going to take care of itself. What I'm curious about now is whether or not the Rangers will make a significant push for the playoffs this year. I think they will. But what do you do now in the offseason? Do you target a defenseman? Do you wait for one of your young kids to take the step? Like I'm not sure. They have needs to be addressed. Mark Stahl is probably in the twilight of his career. He's not going to be a serviceable option for much longer. Brendan Smith was much maligned during the qualifying round against the Hurricanes. So what do they do? Do they try to address it in the offseason, or do they wait for those young kids to take the step? Like, I'm inclined to believe they're going to sign at least one guy in the summer or make a trade somewhere.
Yeah.
But, and that's the thing. And you
look out for the Rangers this offseason. They're going to make some moves. I completely agree with that.
Yeah. And that's the great thing. And, you've got Panarin locked up long-term. Zibanejad's likely going to be around for the long haul. And you've got 3 years of Alexis Lafreniere on an entry-level deal.
Now,
right? So,
Sens Chirp just tweeted something, a GIF, and he said, "Why does the ball enter the tube from the side instead of the opening at the bottom?" I'm going to play this for the YouTube viewers and everyone listening on Internal Budget. I definitely recommend going to Sens Chirp and checking this GIF out, because I don't know. I'm not tinfoil hat. Brandon's not here, but let's just watch this, and I'll see what the comment section says themselves.
Yeah.
Once again, I don't think this was rigged, but there are a lot of convenient outcomes for that.
He dropped the Rangers ball in the tube and picked it up again and put it back in.
Wait, what? Where do you see that?
Mike Stewart on Twitter. Greg Wyshynski just retweeted. Greg Wyshynski just retweeted it. Wyshynski.
Thank you. He's a great follow, by the way, Greg.
He's fantastic. Why? What is up with that?
No. Hold up.
Oh, it's because he didn't show it to the camera first. Because they needed the shot for the camera.
Hold up. Okay. Let's be investigative journalists here. Let's sift through all this BS for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put this on the screen for everyone to watch. But I don't know.
This
man.
Is weird, man.
This went from, like, I was joking for everyone listening. I was joking at the beginning. I was just playing a gag, but now I'm very skeptical. I'm wondering what is going on. Like, let me play it and then we'll continue, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. By the way, for YouTube purposes, move the hand so the algorithm doesn't ban my channel. All rights go to the NHL. NHL, NBC, Sportsnet, I own no rights. This is just for commentary reasons. All right. Sorry I have to do that, but YouTube messes me up like that.
So, yeah, he drops it and then he picks it back up because he realizes he didn't show it to the camera.
That's weird.
But that just happens to be the one that won. Like that was the winning ball. But is it an honest mistake? Probably. It's just an honest mistake, and they needed the shot for the broadcast.
Most definitely.
But come on. Like, of course this would happen too. They're like, we're being totally transparent. Jesus. Like,
what are the odds?
Oh, only the NHL. Only the NHL. God love it, but only the NHL.
What I will say is we went from funny laughter to an honest debate where is this actually rigged? Now, I don't think it is.
No, me
But
neither. No.
I think I want to say I don't want to mess up here. I think the National Hockey League is a league like all others that wants to be as fair as possible for its teams. That being said, this whole process has been very sketchy, and I think we all can agree on that.
I just got a question sent in to me asking if the Rangers have the cap room to go after Torrey Krug in the offseason, which is a really interesting idea, and it's something they should consider. But they are tight against the cap right now. Torrey Krug. But it doesn't look like the Bruins are going to be able to re-sign him, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. The Rangers have a good amount of guys that are set to come off the books. That's going to free up a ton of cap room for them. Henrik Lundqvist, Mark Stahl, and Brendan Smith. But they don't come off the cap until 2021. So if the Rangers are going to make a move this offseason to go after Torrey Krug, they're somehow going to have to dump that money. Maybe Lundqvist retires. Maybe Mark Stahl, maybe they try to bite the bullet and buy out one of Smith or Stahl, or use a pick to kind of, to trade them to somebody. But I think that's, for me, like, that's an option you got to look at if you're the Rangers. Like Torrey Krug, imagine adding Torrey Krug to that blue line. That is bananas.
Let's talk about this as Sens fans for a second, where we're talking about the Rangers who are very tight to the cap, especially with a cap that's not going to rise for the next 5 years or so. Ottawa's in a unique position where not only do they have like one or two players tied up for the next 2 years, they also got like $25-30 million worth of cap space. Can you see the Ottawa Senators potentially helping out the Rangers?
I could. And let's think about it this way. The Rangers have 2 picks in the first round, and they have hold on. I'm reading the condition on this pick. So they have one of Carolina's conditional picks. So
Really?
So the Carolinas, the 13th pick that the Hurricanes have is Toronto's.
Yes.
But the Hurricanes have their own. So the Rangers will receive the lower. So wherever Carolina ends up picking, the Rangers will have another pick. The Rangers don't have a second round pick, but they have 2 in the third round and 3 in the 7th. So, and in next year they have 2 in the third and 2 in the fourth, one of which in the fourth is Ottawa's. So if you're the Senators, you want picks this draft.
Yes.
But you already have a lot of them. So if you're Ottawa, do you try to get one of this year's picks from the Rangers? Do you take a third rounder from Dallas or the Rangers to take on Mark Stahl's contract? I'm probably doing that.
Well, I'll pull it up right now. What Ottawa has for draft capital.
I believe, I got the Rangers here. Ottawa has, I think, what is it, like 7 through the first? Yeah, it's 7 through the first 2 rounds and 9 through the first 3 rounds.
It's insane.
Yeah, and they're not going to keep all those picks. They're not going to use all of them. So some of those will be traded. I think. Sorry to interrupt, but I think even if you look go ahead, man.
I think even if you look at that Islanders pick, which is probably going to be in the 20 range now, because the Islanders, I think, are a team that might make some noise because of their defensive scheme and good goaltending. Yep. I'm not saying they're going to advance. I'm saying they're going to have a shot. So I think that pick is not going to be in the top. It's not going to be a teen pick, late teen. I think it's going to be in the 20s. So I think
early
Ottawa
20s probably, yeah.
Yeah, so I think Ottawa is really, really going to look at trading that one. Maybe 1 or 2 second-round picks for a solid defenseman if they don't take Drysdale, or a really, really good center or winger if they don't get Byfield or Stutzla. I think that third first-round pick, I don't think Ottawa's going to select anything with it. I think that pick is going to be used to further the rebuild, because unparalleled success for the next 5 years. We are on August 10th, 2020, and Melnick said 2021. So we're a year away, and I think we all know what happens in a few years when all the contracts are up. So I think the time is now for the Ottawa Senators, especially with the budget situation. I think I completely agree. I think Ottawa is a team that is very flexible and has the resources in draft capital, anyways, not in money, but in draft capital, to make a splash.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. I think for me, it's definitely something. Like, look at the huge mistake Ottawa made by not attempting to take on Patrick Marleau's contract. The Hurricanes did it for a first-round pick, and they ended up getting the 13th overall pick. Now, maybe it was a situation where Marleau, they're trying to send him to a contender and whatnot. But, like for me, Ottawa has to take advantage of their financial situation.
Yeah.
They're going to be a team that needs to hit the floor. They're closer to having to hit the floor more than they're having, than they're bumping up against the cap. So, yeah, Ottawa's got to do that, I think. Now, Stahl and Smith both have no trade clauses.
Man. Come on,
yeah,
I was thinking about Stone.
Yeah, but yeah, Stahl and Smith both have no trades.
Yeah.
So are they going to want to go to Ottawa for like the last year of their career? Probably not.
Why would you?
Beautiful
city. No. Why would you want to come here?
Yeah, no.
Organization.
Neither of those guys have won a cup, if I'm not mistaken. I know Stahl hasn't. I don't think Smith has either.
We're talking about Mark Stahl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
no, he's been a career Ranger. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so for me, are either of those guys going to want to come to Ottawa? Probably not. So it would be a good opportunity for Ottawa to kick tires on, but I don't see it happening that way. And that's just, and again, it's not the worst thing in the world. Ottawa has a good amount of picks either way. They should be using those picks to try to take on assets, like you said. They should be looking for a good right-handed defenseman with those picks.
Yes.
They should be looking for maybe another middle six winger with those picks.
Yes.
So that's kind of where Ottawa is. Like the wings in Ottawa's prospect system aren't amazing. Like you've got Tkachuk and you've got Batherson, who both project to be at the very worst top six guys. Formanton looks great. But you've got to use those picks to gain assets. I just don't know if the Rangers are the right match. You know what I mean?
No, I completely agree with that. And I think when you look at the Ottawa Senators, and the New York Rangers, and really just all the teams that are in cap hell, you look at what COVID-19 has done to these teams in 2020, where they're all screwed. Now, unfortunately, Ottawa is in a position where they should take advantage, where they should be that team that takes all that dead cap like John Chayka did with the Arizona Coyotes. But like you just said, and like I think we all can agree here, that is very unlikely to happen. Now, what I'm wondering is, to everyone listening to this, I want to switch the subject for a sec, okay? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Fire away.
So, we spoke about this in the beginning. I don't want to speak about it again. Last night, the Leafs and Columbus, because I know this is going to be put onto internal budget, and I think we should really have a conversation about that before we finish the stream, because I think that game really shows the issues with Toronto and the way they've really tried to speed up their rebuild. They were on the right track in 2017 with Matthews. And then they got cheeky in 2018 with Washington, losing in 6 games. And then they threw a lot of money, and now they got no money. So I'm going to let you fire away because this is going to be your podcast.
Well, I don't want to call what the Leafs have a failure, because it's not. The Leafs have built probably one of, if not the best overall forward group in terms of skill in the league. Like, when have we ever seen a team that can boast the talent of Matthews and Marner and Nylander and Tavares? Like, it's ridiculous how much talent they have up front. So anything that any group that builds that core up in their forward group should be applauded. But the defense needs to be addressed.
Yes.
And as much as we like to rag on the Leafs, and trust me, I like to rag on the Leafs. It's been a fun 24 hours or so for me.
So much fun on Twitter right now.
Yeah. But the Leafs are closer to winning a cup than they are not winning a cup.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just the reality. All it's going to take is adding 2 defensemen, and they're going to be okay. Now, are they going to have to move a Kapanen or a Janssen to probably make that a reality? Yeah. But picture this. Let's say they trade a Kapanen or a Janssen, maybe a pick, maybe a prospect, and they get in a 3rd or 4th defenseman. Then they sign Dylan DeMello, who will probably come pretty cheap in the offseason.
Yeah.
Your top, you now have a top 3 defense core of Morgan Riley, DeMello, and another unnamed defender.
Let's just throw Dermott's name in there.
And Muzzin too. Muzzin will be healthy.
Yeah.
So now that's your top 4.
Not bad.
And you've got Sandin coming in. You've got Liljegren coming in. That's a good looking group.
Yeah.
Is goaltending a question mark? I don't think so. I think Freddie Anderson's overworked, and I think they need a backup to lighten his load. But the Leafs are going to be okay. If they can get out of this current little cap crunch, which they can do, like Cece's coming off the books, Barry's coming off the books, they'll move Captain or Janssen.
Whoa. Let's not write this ship yet. Cece had a fantastic season, and I think Cece should return to Toronto on a max contract. I think not a chance.
I think we all do. But like, keeping that in mind, they're looking okay.
Yeah.
Let's say they bring Spezza back for cheap, and they've still got Kerfoot. You still got a really good center group with Matthews, Tavares, Kerfoot, and Spezza. Now you've got a decent blue line. You still maintained all that forward skill by hanging on to Nylander, Marner, Tavares, and Matthews. That's a Leafs team that is probably exponentially better than they were this year. So I think last year they were in a bit of a pickle when it came to the offseason. I think now they have more of an opportunity because last year they had to bite the bullet to unload Zaitsev, and they took on Cece. They don't have to unload. They don't have to bite any bullets to unload anybody.
Yeah.
Barry's done. Cece's done. They can just let those guys walk.
Yep.
So the Leafs are going to be okay. Will they win in the playoffs? Who knows? We've seen plenty of teams that were built to win that didn't win.
Yeah. Ottawa.
Maybe maybe the Leafs are that group.
Yeah.
But I think, and Sens Twitter is going to choke me for this, but I think they're closer to winning a cup than they are not winning a cup. I don't think they make any kind of rash decisions based on a 5-game loss to Columbus, where Columbus got insane goaltending. The Leafs were shooting less than 2%. In the series.
No, I agree.
When does that ever happen? Especially a team with that level of talent. I'm not saying it was a fluke. Columbus played well. They were well coached, and they got great goaltending. But that series could have gone either way.
You know what I think? I think the fact that Toronto had such a difficult time scoring in the series shows the mistake of signing John Tavares. And now let me rephrase that, where John Tavares is a fantastic player. He's an incredible talent, and he's a great player for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That money should have went to a puck-moving defenseman, because there was no defenseman. Even Morgan Riley had trouble breaking that neutral zone trap in John Tortorella's system. This series completely shows the lack. Oh, my phone just went off for Siri. Stupid phone. Stupid phone. This series completely shows that the Leafs need a puck mover on that blue line. Morgan Riley is a hell of a talent, but he's alone. Who else is there to move the puck? If you have all these forwards breaking out, the odds of them going end-to-end every single play, every single game, and scoring a goal every single day in a playoff series, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. You need those puck movers on the blue line to get you that puck. That Austin Matthews pass to Morgan Riley, they need more of that. They need way more of that. So if I'm Toronto, if I'm a Maple Leafs fan, you need a puck mover, and you need him now.
I think you need a puck mover in the sense that you need a guy who can complete a breakout.
Yeah.
Or start a breakout, I should say. Like, they don't need another dynamite offensive guy, because they have Riley, who's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they have Sandin, who projects to be an upper tier offensive defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
So they need a guy. They need a good two-way guy. They need a Dylan DeMello. Like, they've had a lot of looks at Dylan DeMello. I wouldn't be shocked if the Leafs go after DeMello in the offseason.
It's cheap.
Maybe, he should come pretty cheap. Maybe he'll re-up with Winnipeg, but I wouldn't be shocked to see the Leafs take a run at him. So for me, I think they're closer than we appear. I don't think they blow it up because of this. Tavares played well. Matthews played well. Marner tried to do too much, but he still played pretty well. Nylander played pretty well. Like, sometimes you just get goalied. Are they a flawed? Sure. Yeah. Are they a flawed? In the world. Yeah. Are they a flawed roster? For sure. Yeah. For sure they're flawed. They have major defensive holes that need to be addressed. They have a major hole in net that needs to be addressed. A hole being the backup, not Freddie Anderson. But they're close. am I going to relish watching them lose in the playoffs in the next few years? Yes, I am. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Exactly. We're Sens fans at heart. So it's going to be fun to watch that. But I think they're going to be okay. I really do. Are they going to win a cup? I don't know. Like, it's going to be hard with this financial situation that they've got themselves in. But what were they supposed to do? They had to lock all those guys down. Like, that's the heart and soul of their team. You have all the skill in the league, and you're going to let one of those guys walk, or you're going to trade one of those guys? No, I wouldn't have. I probably would have done. Sorry, go ahead.
What I will say for Toronto, and sorry, I hate cutting you off. It's just because of lag and stuff.
Yeah, you're good, man. You're good.
That's 2020 for you. Mm-hmm. I think what this is gonna do, this is make or break for Kyle Dubas. Is his job on the line? No, but he went in as the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs as the hottest general manager prospect we've probably ever seen. Now, does it help that TSN, Toronto Sports Network, likes to pump the tires on the Maple Leafs? Is it the fact that Sportsnet or Leafsnet likes to pump the tires on Leafs? Yes, and I love both networks. I love Darren Dreger. I love all these guys. But let me just keep it real with you. They really like to talk about the Maple Leafs and like to overhype them, in my opinion. That being said, I think Kyle Dubas is a great general manager. Look what he did with the Sioux, with the Greyhounds. Look what he did in the AHL, the Marlies. And like you just said, I don't see why he can't get himself out of this situation. He's a great general manager, and I think the Leafs are going to be okay, but there's a good chance they can get really screwed over. This offseason is huge.
Yeah, and people got to remember, like, there are people calling to fire Dubas and fire Keefe. Keefe's had 52 regular season games, something like that. Dubas has had 2 years. Yeah. That's not enough to evaluate a guy on. I think next year is where you start looking at making some organizational changes. But for right now, the Leafs, it sucks. It sucks what happened to them. Like, for those fans, like, it sucks. I love it, but it sucks for them. But the thing you got to do from an organizational perspective is you just got to take it on the chin. You just got to roll with it for now. And you got to let it motivate you for next year. You got to quietly build up that blue line with cheap, effective guys. Like, we know Dubas is an analytics darling. He can't be chasing anyone that's, got an $8 million cap hit. He's got to be chasing guys that he can get on lower income deals or expiring deals and put something together. That's why I think DeMelo's perfect. DeMelo's a guy they should target.
DeMelo, yeah.
So they're going to be okay, man. I really believe that.
I do want to say one thing for everyone listening and watching this. The Leafsnet thing and the Toronto Sportsnet thing, it's a joke. I'm obviously not it's obviously a joke. I'm going into journalism. I'm going to work for one of the two companies. It's a joke. So before anyone tries to get at me, especially one day when I'm on one of the two medias, just keep in mind it's just a joke. I hope you guys understand that. I just wanted to put that out there.
We have fun. We have fun.
We're just having fun. Yeah.
But yeah, man, like, the whole complexion of the Eastern Conference just changed. Like we're already been over for an hour, so I don't want to go for way too much longer. Yeah. Everybody's going to be like, why the hell are these guys on the air for 4 hours? But yeah, like, for me, the Rangers just became a team that within a year or two is going to be a competitor. Yeah. Like, does a Rangers team that also boasts Alexis Lafreniere lose to the Hurricanes in the first round? Maybe not, right? So yeah. So that's where I'm at. I think this is great for the NHL. It's not only great because Lafreniere is going to a great market with a great fan base, but it's great for the NHL that he's not going to Edmonton, he's not going to Pittsburgh, and he's not going to Toronto, because that would have been disastrous from an optics perspective, but also for Lafreniere, because those are three markets where he probably isn't going to have as much of a chance to flourish as he is with the Rangers. So I think from a hockey fan perspective, I love it. From a Sens fan perspective, I like it, but it makes me a little nervous. And from the NHL perspective, I think this is a slam dunk. Yeah.
I think it's perfectly put. And on top of that, you look at the Rangers. I think a well-built and a well-mannered and a well-fit organization is so critical to success. Look at the Toronto Raptors. everything they've been doing lately has been great. Masai Ujiri has really turned around the team. They're on top of the ball for everything. They're a top-class organization, and that goes a long, long way for your players not only wanting to stay in your organization, but the organization itself having a legitimate chance at winning a championship. I think the Rangers have that. They got the money and they got the fan base. At the end of the day, lights, camera, action. Alexis Lafreniere, get ready. But I think he is ready. I think this is just great.
I think so too. And man, I think that's a perfect spot to wrap it up, dude.
I agree.
This has been a lot of fun. We got to do this kind of thing more often, bro. I love doing this crossover stuff. It's going to be great for the channel. It's going to be great for the podcast. I'm excited to get this one up as episode 30.
You're welcome back.
What a mind-blowing live stream this has been, man.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna tweet out some clips. So at @Senstalk_. But you're welcome back anytime. I'd love to have you on. I was thinking to have you on maybe to watch some hockey for a second round, whatever. We'll have to talk about that. I'll text you. But yeah, once again, thank you once again for having me on the podcast for the third time now. And I think it's time that we have you back on the Best of 7 podcast. So to everyone watching and listening to this, stay tuned for that. Next couple episodes, we need to have Brandon Maki on. We need to break down this whole draft lottery, the first round, and just the stream in general. Brandon, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining the show, and thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you, my brother.
All right. Everyone that was watching and everyone that's here on the stream right now, thank you so much for the support. So, Brandon, before we log off, tell everyone where they can find your stuff.
Find me at Brandon Maki _ Maki like sushi, Maki. Silver7sens.com is where you can check out the writing. Internal Budget's the name of the podcast. All the social medias. Twitter's at Internal Budget. Instagram is Internal Budget Podcast because some random dead account has Internal Budget. Don't know why, but that's my luck.
That's the same thing.
But yeah, check me out on all those places.
Same thing with me for Twitter. @SensTalk is
I know.
so annoying. And for everyone watching this, the Best 7 podcast is where you can find me every single week. And for majority of the time, I'll be here on the channel SensTalk @SensTalk _ on Twitter. Brandon Maki, it's been a pleasure. We'll see y'all very soon. Stay tuned next week for a great episode of the Best 7 podcast. If you haven't checked it out already, check out episode number 17 of the Best 7 or 18 episode of the Best 7 podcast, where we had Sean Burke, NHL legend, on the show. Thank you all for watching and joining, and we'll see you in the next one. Remember, a lot of jokes in this video. Take everything with a grain of salt, and we'll catch you in the next one. Appreciate it, and see you later.